Alex, can we please have a one-word needle-themed prompt?
I was gonna say needle. What's the word she said? Kitty, kitty, kitty. Deeper.
Deeper.
Deeper. Perfect. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I've never done acupuncture, but I do hear more and more from people that they do seem to love it. And I wonder if it would
never.
No? Oh,
Absolutely
you're not a needle person?
I'm a needle phobic person.
Gotcha. I definitely would probably have to look away. Like if they did my back, I think that would be ideal.
Anytime I get blood drawn, I look away, and they're always like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm okay. I just don't want to look at it." Hold on one second. Hey, welcome to the Spooky Overtalking Podcast. That's right. It's still October, and so we are continuing the spooky month where we watch horror movies every single week. And we are continuing the theme of horror movies that your parents may or may not have let you watch when you were younger, and specifically did not let you watch when you were younger. And, we are continuing with Audition, which I bet you a lot of people have not seen or even heard of.
Correct.
So I am excited to expose them to the horrors of Audition. Pause it, go check it out, because we're going to definitely spoil it.
And this is one that you probably don't want spoiled.
Yes.
Sorry to jump in.
No, it's okay. That voice you're hearing is returning guest Alex Vazquez. Welcome back.
Hi.
Thanks for having me, guys. As this film is known in Japanese, Audition. It's the same. It's the same pronunciation. It's like an anglicized pronunciation of the word. It has the same title in Japan.
That makes sense. I heard them like say it throughout the movie, and I was like, "That's just the same word." That's
okay. Right.
This just made me want to go back to Japan. Just any movie now that I see that's set in Japan, I'm like, Japan rules. It's so much fun there.
Jelly, I want to go.
Yeah, I want to go too. I'm also very jealous. Alex, you've had a major life moment since you've been on the show. You had a baby. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a whirlwind. As I mentioned before we started recording, I found the quietest spot in the house, this corner of the basement, to record. Because I think at some point my wife is going to be changing him or doing something, and he's got some pipes. Let me tell you.
Future singer.
Yeah, he could screech like the best of them.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about like brand newborns, but the pitch is just right to really travel.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure listeners have heard Nora cry in the background of a previous episode too. So if it happens, don't worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
But I mentioned up top that the theme for this month is movies that your parents didn't let you watch growing up. And I assume your parents didn't even know what this movie was. But do you want to talk a little bit more about why you chose Audition?
Yeah, sure. Yes, you're correct. My parents probably still to this day don't know that this movie exists, which is probably for the best. So when I was coming up with titles, I started getting into like these sorts of movies, like around I don't know, like junior high, early high school, things like that. And I knew better than to tell my parents about the kinds of things I wanted to watch, because I knew they would just say like absolutely not. This definitely falls in that category. And this comes from a time when I feel like any budding cinephile, especially men, boys, like around like that, like 13, 14 age, they get into that, like they want to start like seeking out the really transgressive stuff. They start Googling like the lists of like fucked up movies, like that kind of, and that's actually what kind of gets you started. Or at least got me started looking into movies from other countries. Like this movie is a Japanese film, and specifically like Asian cinema. I think a lot of people's like me's like first forays into Asian cinema are like movies like Audition, Battle Royale, Old Boy, movies that kind of have like these like reputations for for being very transgressive, for like having really shocking content in them, and you just kind of want to like test your limits with that kind of stuff. And like those are, at least in the early 2000s too, like those weren't the most available movies. They almost felt sort of like passed around like little secrets. Or like you'd hear somebody like Quentin Tarantino saying like Audition is this like masterpiece that everybody's sleeping on or whatever, because like people, you know, don't watch movies from outside the US or whatever. So you get curious about those things. And I think Audition's a really interesting one because I feel like a lot of people approach it because it ends up on lists of movies like that, where it's like, you're going to see something really messed up, dude. But then, especially on this rewatch, and we'll probably go into it later, I'm like, there's a lot more going on in this movie, and the kind of like quote unquote fucked up stuff is really focused for a very like short period of the film.
Yeah.
And then in between, there's a lot of other stuff that we can dig into as well. So it's also not traditionally like a spooky movie or like a Halloween kind of movie. So I feel like I need to apologize for that, and also maybe apologize to CJ for subjecting him to.
You do need to do that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, CJ. We gotta have me on, and we gotta like find something that I feel like I always do this to you, and we need to find something a little.
I know what I'm in store for this month. I accept my fate.
But we gotta figure out where the Venn diagram meets with the two of us. We need.
There is an overlap, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's like 80s camp. I really like those.
Well, and it's John Wick too, it sounds like.
Yes.
I was listening to that John Wick
Action movies.
Yeah.
We could do a whole other episode of me just like providing running commentary. Ken heard a lot. I was texting him all month.
It was great. I loved the additional content I got.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you mentioned that people seek out Audition because it's known for like being shocking and all of that. And we'll talk about how little of the movie actually contains that stuff. But I have a similar story. The first time I watched Audition, I was in college, and it was the days when you get discs for Netflix, and I was like just starting to explore more.
Okay, Gen Z, discs are physical media, and you actually had to like put it in a player.
I'm turning my camera for those of you listening to my shelves down here in the basement of all of my physical media. I'm a big Blu-ray collector.
You have an awesome collection. Yeah.
It's my great shame is what I call it, but thank you.
Man. Mine are still in my boxes, and I need to find a spot for them. But anyway, so yeah, I was exploring new horror movies, getting a couple a week or whatever, and then I started going to a local video rental place, and I just straight up asked the guy at the counter, I was like, "Hey, what's like the scariest horror movies that you have?" And he recommended to me two movies. One was A Tale of Two Sisters, which got remade a while back to an American version. I forget what that was called.
Oh yeah, was that The Unborn?
Yeah,
was that the remake of A Tale of Two Sisters?
That's right.
That's the Korean film, Tale of Two Sisters. Yeah.
Yes, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
But the other one was Audition, and so. Yeah, and
the extreme Asian movies. That's like that's the whole thing.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, everything I was watching was domestic, and so he broadened my horizons a little bit, and so I'll never forget that. And I watched it again at the Music Box a few years ago.
Oh,
nice. So this is my third time watching it.
Dang.
And I also forgot how little of the movie has the like horrific stuff in it, and the rest of like the first half is like pretty
normal.
tame.
Yeah. And that's kind of that's the trick of the movie, right? Where it's like you're almost tricked into watching like this is just like some like domestic like drama kind of romance thing, very gentle, very whatever. And then I marked it exactly. It's like at the 48-minute
mark. It's like the last 10 minutes.
The movie's almost 2 hours long. It's like an hour and 55 minutes. And at the 48-minute mark is that shot of her sitting on the floor and the bag in the background waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
And then the bag moves. And that's like, and that's the first indication where you're like, something is terribly wrong here.
Yeah.
What's in that bag? And it's almost an hour into the movie. It's crazy.
It's so awesome. All right. I know we all want to talk more about Audition, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on the Overtalking Podcast. And we're back on the Overtalking Podcast with returning guest Alex Vazquez. Oh! And we're talking about 1999's Audition. How do you pronounce the director's name?
Takashi Miike, or as
Okay.
in CJ, who has been to Japan, probably knows, they say the last name first. Miike Takashi is usually how he is. That would be how he's addressed. But in the Western world, we call him Takashi Miike.
Takashi Miike, thank you. I kept in my head, I've never said it out loud, and as I was getting ready for this podcast, I was like, I'm going to have to say his name, and I was always pronounced just Mike. Like,
Yeah, no, it's Miike with the two eyes, yeah.
That makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
very literal, yeah.
Well, Alex, we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock for you to describe for someone who's not yet seen or may choose not to ever see Audition what it's all about.
Ready, go.
Okay, so this middle-aged widower, kind of like a businessman producer. I believe he's like a movie producer. After seven years after his wife dies, he has a teenage son, and he wants to get back into the dating game. He wants to find a new wife, and his producing partner says, "Well, let's hold an audition for a fake movie to try to find the perfect match for you." And then he does, and everything works out perfectly, and they all live happily ever.
What? And hilarity ensues, and everything is
Hilarity
fine.
ensues. Yeah, that's right. Oh, man.
Pretty accurate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they go on a few dates. One's an acupuncture one. And
Yeah.
Really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get out of town, they rent a cabin together, nice little
Yeah.
Airbnb.
And then they devote themselves to each other fully.
Yep.
Yeah. And she really bags a winner, right? CJ, did I introduce you at the beginning of this?
You did
show?
not, again.
I think I derailed us at the very beginning.
No,
I'm
it was
so
me because
sorry.
when I do that voice, like it throws me off of the rhythm of the thing. I did
You
this
go into a
last
trance.
episode too. It's 2 episodes in a row. Sorry, Siege.
I'm here.
That's
say
how
hi,
you know
CJ.
you've been doing this. Sorry, I did it again.
You're good. You're good. All right, let's dive more into it. Obviously, things take a turn after
Yes.
Alex's synopsis in ways that are kind of hard to describe. But this woman is not who she appears to be. Fucks them up real bad.
I think that's an astute way of describing what happens.
Yeah.
And we learn more about her backstory, which is also pretty messed up and
Yeah.
gross and bad.
She does.
Yeah.
She tells things about herself on the dates, and they are true, but she's kind of leaving out a lot of the detail.
Yes.
Yes.
Or but there's also like a little bit of an unreliable narrator thing to her as well, where it's like, yeah, she maybe sugarcoats some things, but then maybe some other stuff comes up where it's like, well, is that exactly how it went down? And then there's these kinds of like, in the back half, there are almost these like dream sequences, or like when the main character gets like drugged basically, and then kind of goes through this like slipstream of like, it almost like doesn't make sense like why he shows up. Like there's that sequence where he shows up in his in her apartment. He wakes up in there, and he sees the guy, or he sees what is in the bag in her apartment, and how she interacts with it, and you're like, is that, but it doesn't. But then he wakes back up, like where he was drugged was in his house, and then he shows back up in his house again. Like how did he end up there?
I was confused by all of that.
And the sequence back in the dance studio, and it seems almost like he's privy to information that he wouldn't otherwise have.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like a melding of their psyches or something like that. It's pretty obtuse and almost like experimental in this otherwise like pretty like shocking and straightforward like horror thing.
Yeah. That happens twice. Because afterwards,
It's like a dream within a dream.
and we'll go through the plot in a bit more detail in a second. But yeah, afterwards, the son shows up, and then he wakes up at a part earlier in the movie, as if that hadn't happened.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's all a dream.
Right.
And then we get maybe the scariest moment in the whole movie, which is him realizing that no, this is real.
I think that's what confused me the most. Like, it's established earlier in the movie that we're assumed to be he was drugged because he wakes up and his like head hurts and she's gone, and you're like, oh yeah, clearly she like drugged him or something. He seems in pain. But then so she drugs him at his home, and he like falls to the ground, and that kicks off the dream sequence. But then it cuts back to him again stumbling and falling to the ground. And you're like, if you had just cut back to like him on the ground, then I would have assumed all of that was when he was like passed out from being drugged. But because you cut back to the same part we saw, I'm like, so did all that dream happen within 1 second of him like falling over?
That.
Or like,
have you haven't experienced that before though? Like it's almost like you like, as somebody who is now waking up at all hours of the night to feed a baby, like time is a weird slipstream in those moments of like, where your brain is like freaking out, where I feel like I've had a whole entire dream, but then like I'll have woken up again and it had been like seriously like 2 minutes. Like it will only a moment will have passed, but it felt like so much had passed. And that actually, like when it goes back to that same shot of him collapsing, I almost felt like an intense like satisfaction of like it is like this weird just like none of this is like time really isn't an object anymore. It's just it's almost like a wave of realization of all of this, like this person's trauma and the nature of their relationship that we didn't understand before, hitting him almost like as he hits the floor in that same moment that gets like elongated to like 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I have another interpretation of that too that we'll talk about a little bit later. I do want to quickly go through the beats of this for people who will probably never watch it.
No, people should watch it. People
should watch it if you can stomach it. There is a trigger warning and spoiler alert. There's a dead dog. Sorry.
Oh yes, I did forget about the dog. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, I'd never like to see a dead dog. However, the actual dead dog, you're like, well, that is so obviously fake. Like it wasn't really a great job as a dead dog, so I could stomach it more.
It's still shocking though. I don't know.
You don't like to see dead pets.
Yeah, not ideal.
Yeah,
I usually try to get Meg to watch movies with me just because I don't like watching movies alone. And this one, I straight up told her like, you should skip this one.
Yeah, if you know the dog dies.
This is not for you.
Yep.
I didn't remember the dog died though. Even this was before that. But then as I was watching it and I saw the dog running around, I couldn't remember if the dog had died or not. And then I was like, this dog's definitely dying.
Yeah,
I chose correctly.
The dog's a goner. Yeah.
All
it's not my favorite either, but yeah.
You know, John Wick has it. It's sometimes it's necessary, I guess. Okay, quickly, we have to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alex already said a lot of this, but yeah, he holds an audition to basically try to find someone to be his future wife under kind of false pretenses.
It's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
It's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't say kind of. They are false pretenses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had pretty much already chosen the main messed up girl before then. And so she appears very meek, very quiet, and he ends up taking her out on some dates, and they have a good time, and he eventually fesses up that the movie's not happening, but she still seems interested in him, and
like too interested.
Mm-hmm.
They learn quickly, even before that some of the things that she'd said during her audition were not true. And people related to things that she said have been missing. But he doesn't care, and he moves on anyway. And they end up sleeping together, and that's the moment that we talked about earlier where he wakes up and his head's hurting him, and she's gone. And then most of the second half of the movie is him looking for her through some of the details that she mentioned in previous encounters, like she spent 12 years at some ballet studio. And so he goes to that ballet studio. It's all boarded up, but he hears piano music inside and goes in. And there's this really weird dude playing the piano with really messed up legs or something.
He doesn't have feet. He has like these like wooden blocks that have been made into feet that he kind of, he can kind of stand up, but it doesn't really work as he's in this wheelchair. Yeah. Gross dude too.
Yeah. And this is when the main character starts to get like weird flashbacks. So he gets this weird flashback while he's with dude of this dude tutoring the main girl when she's younger and being very creepy and fucked up and taking out some hot sticks and burning her leg.
Incense, I think, was what
Incense. Yeah.
I think they were incense sticks that he would like burn her on her inner thigh with them when she like didn't dance correctly or something like that.
Yeah, there's heavy implication of other things that may have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, sexual abuse, yeah.
Yeah. But luckily we don't see any of that. And then it moves on to him looking for her where she said she worked, and the person, he goes to that place and it's been closed, and someone nearby tells him the story of how the owner was murdered and additional body parts were with the chopped up remains of the owner. And very much later on, we find out that there may or may not be someone in this bag who is also missing those parts. So that's where they came from.
What is it, like 2 or 3 fingers, a tongue,
and an ear.
and an ear? Yeah.
Yeah. But again, he gets this weird flashback of suddenly seeing the tongue flopping on the ground as if it was still freshly alive or something.
I liked that sound effect. That was pretty good. Yeah, the like wet.
You know, you want to know something nuts, CJ? I'm not sure how many of Mika's other films you've seen, Ken, but this might be one
other.
Was it Ichi the Killer? 13 Samurai, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was it.
He's done a whole lot of different kinds of movies, but movies in the horror space. This is actually one of his most like restrained and like kind of stately movies. It's really handsomely mounted. His reputation in Japan is for being really shocking, and a lot of Japanese genre cinema is like pretty shocking. Like there's a lot of shock tactics, a lot of gore, a lot of sex, a lot of like, you know, kind of in your face, very transgressive stuff. But he had a reputation for being pretty shocking and also insanely prolific. I think he's directed somewhere in the neighborhood of like 120 feature films by this point.
Wow.
I've seen maybe like 20 of them, I think, and I feel like I've like barely scratched the surface. A lot of them like aren't available in the US, and he's made a lot of like, he does a lot of like for hire work. He'll do like, he did an adaptation of the video game Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, if you're familiar with that. The lawyer kind of action video game.
Yeah, I've seen like snippets of that.
Yeah,
I should check that out.
So that was him, but he's done also like he's done samurai movies, he's done comedies, he's done science fiction. He kind of does all kinds of stuff, but he's mostly known for like genre and like midnight movies. Just be happy I didn't pick another one like Ichi the Killer, which is just like the one thing I'll tell you about Ichi the Killer is that the title card is presented in semen.
Jesus Christ!
It splatters onto a surface, and you've got that's the Japanese characters of the title. So that'll give
that's talent right there.
Clearly, like computer generated, but yeah,
sure. I actually don't think I've seen anything else by him. I'm looking through it all.
Oh, okay.
I've seen anything.
He's got some other really good ones, and not all of them are like this upsetting. Again, his samurai movies I think are quite good. 13 Samurai I would recommend. Or sorry, it's not 13 Samurai. It's 13 Assassins.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. I got it right here.
Perfect.
Alex grabbed the Blu-ray.
Yeah, The Happiness of the Categories is another really fun one. Kind of like a horror comedy that's really fun. But yeah, I think Audition was one of like, I'm not kidding, like 5 or 6 movies he made that came out in 1999. Like the dude was like on a tear.
That's insane.
And a couple of them are also really good. Like the first Dead or Alive movie, he did a trilogy of Yakuza gangster movies. He's done tons of Yakuza gangster movies.
Cool.
His most famous trilogy being the Dead or Alive trilogy. The first one came out that year, and the close of another Yakuza trilogy he did called the Black Society trilogy. The movie is called Ley Lines in the United States. was that was another one he did. I think all three of those movies played at the Rotterdam Film Festival all at the same time, and it was kind of almost his like big coming out party to like the world.
Wow.
Where they're like, this guy is like a singular like talent out of Japan, and and he became like kind of like a film festival midnight movie mainstay like for years to come after that. Sorry, that's Alex's director nerd corner.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I knew he was a very big, prolific director.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's still making stuff now, right?
Oh yeah, constantly. I think he had something that came out on Netflix that I've been meaning to see called like, oh God, I can't remember. It's like Lumberjack the assassin something. I don't know. Lumberjack I don't know.
Is he just
Lumberjack
a director?
the Monster.
Lumberjack the Monster. That's it.
Does he write anything or like produce also? Is it primarily a director?
No, he's really a director. I
Yeah,
don't know
okay.
how much writing he does. I really don't think so. I think he's really
He knows his lane.
He has other folks write for him. He'll appear in front of the camera from time to time. I think famously, one of his biggest fans is Eli Roth, and he gave him a cameo in one of his Hostel movies.
Oh, did he really? That's awesome.
Oh yeah. I think it was the second one. I can't remember for sure, but so he's got his fan. Tarantino likes him a lot too. I think a couple of his kind of mainstay actors ended up in Kill Bill.
Nice.
A lot of that, like the Crazy 88 sequence, a few of those guys were. I mean, they're just the thing is that like Miike also just like worked with just who all of the working actors in Japan were. They aren't like really specific to him. Like those are just kind of like this. The main character in Audition is kind of he's a pretty well known actor, Ryo Ishibashi, and Jun Kunimura. I'm probably butchering these names, who plays the guy who puts on the audition for him. I've seen him in like so many other, like these guys are just like these are the guys who are in like all the Japanese movies. So I think that also kind of helped, boost the profile of this movie. He worked fast and kind of cheap, but he also worked with, recognizable people all the time.
Gotcha.
It just struck me like, I wonder how they marketed this movie. Like, is the trailer just like a love story trailer?
Well,
like,
that's
is it just
okay.
The first 40 minutes.
But the movie poster is the woman holding like a needle. So I'm
Yeah,
like, that's
I think she's got the wire. Doesn't she have the wire? Or is it the needle?
something.
I think she's got the syringe.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think it was a syringe. So that's why, like, that's all I knew going into this was like I saw the movie poster, and so part of me almost wishes, like, I get from an advertising point of view, you have to have like a hook to draw people in. They see the poster, oh, that looks interesting. But I do feel like it would have been a better reveal, not knowing like, well, you told me who the evil person is, so now I'm just waiting until that's like revealed in the movie.
Yeah, I almost wonder if that was like once they released it on home video, they kind of slapped that on there.
Oh,
We might also be seeing, like the kind of the way it's being marketed to American audiences is something like kind of outrageous. But the other thing to keep in mind is that it's based on a novel by a pretty well-known Japanese author, Ryu Murakami, who I think was kind of known for writing stuff like this. There was a lot of exploration of like S&M too, like in his work. There's a lot of like kink in there. So I think it kind of came with that baggage a little bit, but also Ryu Murakami, he wasn't like a midnight movie guy. It was just more like he made stuff that was transgressive or had some kind of like hook or edge to it that like you knew it was building to something like this, and it's not his only work, but I think it's probably his most like known and popular work now because of this movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure. I have some notes on the book that we can talk about in a second. I just want to finish up for those who will not watch this. He's looking for her. He comes home. She found him instead, and he had made a promise to her earlier that he would love her and only her, and she found out that he has a son, And apparently that's not good enough. And so she drugs him and cuts off at least one foot and starts cutting off the other. And then the son comes home and kicks her down a flight of stairs. And that's the very quickly summarized version. But
not before numbing his body and doing basically the opposite of acupuncture, finding pain points and sticking needles into him where he can feel pain but he can't move. That's what's going. Like a lot of that, like third act, is him just totally helpless, like a limp noodle on the floor.
That is
doing this stuff to him very slowly.
That's the part that stuck with me after my first watch was her putting the needles in, and then she taps it to get a little deeper. She says deeper, 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 but it's in Japanese. It's kari, 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 kari. I'll never forget that.
Yep.
Oh my God. And then we talked about how he like slips in and out of consciousness maybe, or like is in a dream state. And when he thinks that this was all a dream, all of a sudden he hears kitty, 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 kitty.
Yeah.
Like very loud and clearly. And then I just remember the first time hearing that, my heart like sinking, and you're like, oh fuck. We're going back to that.
No, it's over.
So scary.
Yeah.
I will say this is very nitpicky, but guy moves around quite a lot for being paralyzed.
Yes, that bothered me as well.
Yeah. Well, she says you're paralyzed. He's like, he's still kind of flopping around and moving limbs and stuff.
Well, I think they almost seem like pain, like nerve reactions to the pain, where it's just like they're almost like involuntary twitches. They're not. Yes, they read to me more as like spasms, like just because when you're in that deep of pain, even if you don't have control over your body, you would assume that there's just some sort of like almost like a shock reflex or something.
Yeah. He does kind of worm himself to look at his son and like
eventually, maybe the drug is wearing off by that point. Who knows?
And I did love when the son kicks her down the flight of stairs. It like cuts to a side view and she is just fully in half, like touching her toes, like fully bent over as much as possible. It's like, damn, that's one hard kick.
Yeah. And I think there was like something, it's like there was almost like something kind of like bulging or sticking out of the side of her neck or something like that.
Like throbbing or something.
Yeah, like throbs.
Yeah, didn't understand why it throbbed, but I was like, oh, she broke her neck. That's what they're insinuating.
There you go. You understood it. But that on this watch, I think that was what was almost more fascinating to me, sort of like being older and getting past like wanting to be like shocked or transgressed by this movie, watching it again and seeing that so much of the runtime is devoted to this man and this woman and their relationship and the development of that, and kind of like examining, I think in a really like nuanced way, this idea of men and their expectations of women and the relationships that they want to have. And I think very coded to Japanese society, like this idea that this like very meek, polite woman is like the quote unquote ideal woman for this man. Like he says those things very early, like when he's at the bar, like with his friend, like looking at the other like women being frivolous, and he's just like very dismissive of them. He's like, I want somebody with like these qualifications. She needs to have some sort of like, she needs to be able to like play the piano or dance or something, and have that be like a part of her, like almost like examining a resume of these expectations that we have.
They do say at one point, he's like, I want like a more mature woman, and then they're like, okay, age range 20 to 30. And I was like, what?
Right, and that Asami is like, I think that's her name, right? Asami. Is like 25.
Yeah.
Like she is, it's
the son even says that. The son says she's closer to my age. It was like gross.
Like significantly. Yeah.
Right. And that those things just kind of sit there, and that this is ostensibly supposed to be the hero of the story, is this guy, and that it is kind of treated almost like with this light touch of like, oh, what a fun little contrivance to try to find your perfect mate by holding these auditions or whatever, that it's almost like, it almost has this like romantic comedy bent to it, especially when they're like interviewing the people. And but the undercurrent underneath is like, no, this is all really messed up. And that the more you learn about Asami too, and you learn about the trauma that she's gone through, I think it really creates this kind of like ethical slurry at the end where it's like, yes, of course she's like subjecting him to this like horrible torture and like nobody should have to go through that, but you understand it in the context of how her mind has been warped by the men in her life. And honestly, again, like the punishment doesn't really fit the crime here, but what the false pretenses with which he began the relationship with her.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, hurt people
really,
hurt people.
Like, yeah, nobody's really like fully innocent in this exchange, and I think that's and in the end that kind of is what makes the thing feel almost like melancholy at the end. It kind of ends on a pretty heavy tinge of like of sadness, where they have that little exchange at the very end of the movie.
I couldn't tell if that was real or not, or if that was part of another like dream, like. Because it seemed like she clearly like broke her neck, but then is...
Well, I thought it was more like she just broke her collarbone or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. After
like
they put me through that.
In some fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's also, I think, part of the beauty of this movie, too, is that like the way it like slipstreams between that like that abstract and like what's real and what's not. But you're still, I think, getting kind of the essence of the story in this really coherent, like even if like the logic of this stuff doesn't add up, I think the kind of abstract understanding of who these people are and how they're interacting with each other, I think, is like coming through like really clearly, and in ways that, you know, can feel a little outre and a little, you know, maybe not entirely fitting into a logical box, but the emotional truth of it, I think, comes through very well, and I actually think that's what directors from like Japan, China, South Korea, like these countries, I think, are quite adept at, just by their modes of storytelling, that like Western storytelling, I think, kind of struggles to do. And that's kind of why have like since remained really interested in films and storytelling from those countries. And this was very much like one of my gateway drugs to that. So it's been really fun to revisit. I will see. Did you like this?
Yeah, I wanted to ask that as well. How did you enjoy your first watch?
I don't think this is for me.
On what speed did you watch this?
Not at normal speed.
Yes, that's what I figured.
My heart. Oh,
well,
he does it with everything.
It is with everything. So don't take offense.
I was curious,
to it.
like, if you were going to be able to keep up with the reading, though, at the same time. But
yeah, that's fine.
Well, that was what I was. It's actually almost, and it is a movie that moves kind of. It's quite patient, and I almost like the time that you spend in those kind of those moments in between, and the length of time spent. Actually, I think kind of is part of the whole experience. But
yeah. It's also has to do with us recording, I think, 5 episodes in 2 weeks. So I gotta get through these movies, baby.
Yeah, we're in a marathon recording session currently to free up October.
Yeah.
So we have a good backlog. We're running a little hot, so I just want to quickly get through one more thing, and then we're gonna get to trivia. You already talked a little bit about this, but this watch specifically, I was trying to think, like, what's the message here?
Mm-hmm.
And I originally was thinking, like, is it like a feminist revenge thing? But not quite.
It's not quite that.
She takes it too far. And also she had killed a woman. The owner of that place that she worked at was a woman. So didn't totally land on any clear message there. The only thing I could discern, and it maybe made a little bit of sense of the, like, weird him falling backwards and then reliving different parts of his early relationship with her, was that they were either kind of retconning what their conversations were, or were additional details that we didn't see the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I kind of read that was maybe these are things that he kind of chose to put blinders up on.
Yes.
Because he was either really in love or like was really just trying to get with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of works where, I mean, he already was ignoring a bunch of other red flags up to this point. Just learning more about her backstory are things that maybe weren't fitting with this ideal picture of a woman.
Yeah.
That maybe actually did happen earlier, but we just didn't see because we're viewing it through his eyes, and he chose to kind of not think about it.
I noticed on this rewatch in one of their like little dinner date scenes that there were these like really choppy edits. Like in the first time you would see and I remembered thinking, I was like, was that a glitch on the disc? I actually rewound it. And I never noticed that on a previous viewing. It was so subtle where like I'm realizing like there's like a jump cut. There would be like a shot on the man, and he would say something, and then there was a jump cut suddenly, and the background was a little different.
That's what I noticed in the cafe. All of a sudden, the people are gone. I was like, wait, where'd everybody? The restaurant was like crowded, and now no one's there.
This movie does a lot of really interesting like manipulation of time that I think is very purposeful for that reason. Like you pinpointed it, Ken, because we go back to it and we realize there's so much stuff in between that we're not seeing, but because of this, like maybe like this flush of first love or something like that, or him wanting to craft this narrative of this of trying to fit her into this box of what he wants her to be, and that he's like, well, she's got enough ingredients, so I feel like I can just like do the rest. And they're filmmakers too, right?
Yeah,
right.
They're film producers, they're filmmakers. He's almost maybe making these edits in his head.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, because at the beginning of the movie, you're watching him in an editing room with somebody, and they're cutting stuff. Like they're cutting things to create a narrative, and that's what he's doing. This guy made 6 movies this year. He put all of this together, and he's like, I'm going to make 5 other movies, and like 2 of them have like huge Yakuza shootouts and like other. It's the volume with which this guy works is insane.
Yeah, he seems prolific.
That's awesome.
Although this is probably, I would say that this is one of his best movies, I think, in terms of craft. Sometimes his movies feel like, oh yeah, he definitely like made this in 2.5 weeks, like very tossed off. But this one, for all of its like little things here and there, like you mentioned, like, oh, the dead dog looks kind of fake or whatever, or like is actually quite handsomely mounted when he tends to have more of a reputation as somebody who like shoots from the hip. So that's also kind of what makes this movie a little special.
Cool. All right, well, let's learn a little bit more about this movie because it's time for...
Hey, did you know that?
That's right, for new listeners, this is the trivia portion of our show where we pit our guests and CJ head-to-head to see who knows the most about what we watched. Alex, CJ, are you two ready?
Ready.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
First question is about that. True or false, the line, kitty, 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 meaning deeper, 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 spoken by Asami, during the torture scene was in the script from the start.
Probably false if you're asking about it.
I might be with CJ on this one.
Yeah, it's false. I should have buried the lead a bit more. Yes, that was not in there. The actress was whispering her lines, and I she must have muttered something like that, and the director was like, let's put something in like that. And then it became like a huge part of the script because that's what you hear before he snaps back. And yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, next question. Closest number wins. Approximately how many weeks did the shoot for Audition take?
6.
I'm going to say 4. Like I said, this guy works fast.
3.
Wow.
That's a good point.
Like I said, I was like, he makes other movies in like 2.5 weeks, but yeah.
Seriously, that's how he was able to get so many out. That is insane that he made this entire movie in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck?
I mean, it's a lot of talking in rooms.
Yeah, true.
Sure, but it's a whole movie. A 2-hour movie. I don't know.
Pretty crazy.
I guess he's well practiced, but
Yeah.
all right. Next question. This movie was produced by the Omega Project, which is a production company, who just a year earlier released what other J-horror hit? And I would love CJ to answer this first.
Can I name any other J-horror hit?
I feel like you can.
How?
It's maybe one of the biggest ones ever.
Sure
think I
can.
know.
I'll keep giving you hints because I would love for you to get this, and I can tell Alex knows what it is.
Yeah, give me a hint.
It got a American remake that came out when we were in either middle school or high school. I think like middle school.
And it was a movie that the American remake of which I was actually considering pitching for this as well.
Oh, that would have been good too.
So you want me to name a horror movie that came out when I was in middle school? That's the question?
Like one of the biggest ones.
It's a big one.
Halloween.
Oh, come on. In middle school, you think? All right. Alex, what's the answer?
That would be The Ring.
Correct. Yes.
Cool.
Ringu.
So yeah,
Yes.
The Ring was the big, like, that was J horror kind of that ilk, like a little bit more like kind of ghost story stuff, just like kind of smashing into the worldwide kind of understanding. And it was the Ring remake. There was The Ring, The Grudge, Dark Water. God, what were the other one? Pulse. Ooh, gosh, the original Pulse is an incredible movie.
Haven't heard of half of those.
Yes. Agreed. All right. Next question. Which of the following was the actual tagline used to promote Audition? Was it A, love hurts, sometimes literally? B, every cut is deeper than the last? C, she always gets a part? Or D, behind every smile, there's a scream?
C.
I think I've seen the promo with
Yeah.
C.
It is C. She always gets a part, which works.
If it was just
multiple
Love
ways.
Hurts, then that they left it at that, I might have chosen that one. That's cleaner.
Yeah.
It's too long.
For sure. All right. Next question. True or false? Audition is getting an American remake due to be released in 2027.
Sure.
I'm gonna say, just for variety's sake, I'm gonna say false.
Yeah, I made that up. That's not
They
real.
tried, I think, at some point in the 2000s, they were trying to.
Oh, really?
There was at some point that like some American company was trying. Again, like the Ring remake was just it was such a hit. So they just started looking at every other like Japanese horror movie with a reputation to see if they could make their own American version of it. But I think there's no way to do this in a Western set. Like it's so.
Yeah.
I think it's so Japanese in what it's doing, and specifically in the relationship between the two. I guess if you get clever, you could, but I feel like you'd
It would
lose
definitely
some of
be-
the juice.
Well, it would definitely be more gross in America if you were auditioning people straight up to be your wife. So
I feel like it wouldn't be handled with the same kind of with that same kind of touch.
yeah. Did you see that they're planning a remaking Sleepaway Camp?
No,
I don't know. I just saw that the other day, and I don't know. Anyway, I just want to throw that out there, just because they're remaking everything now. And
of course.
I don't know how they're going to do that.
I feel like lightning round, Ken.
Yeah.
I just keep derailing us, but what are and I'm talking like the modern remakes, like the 2000s forward, like when they've begun remaking everything. What are the ones that you think are great? Like what are the Mount Rushmore?
For remakes?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I do like a lot of the J-horror remakes. Like, Ring is definitely...
I think The Ring is on Mount
Scary.
Rushmore for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm thinking almost like those sleepaway camp style, like where they rebooted something from the 70s or 80s. I've got a couple that
I don't know. I'm having trouble with any coming to mind. What do you think?
my hot take, one of them is Black Christmas.
Oh, no.
I like the
Wait, new
2006
one?
Black Christmas a lot.
Oh, that one. Yes, I love that one so
Yeah,
much.
it's so-
I watch it almost
speaking of-
every year.
Speaking of, it's like that it's just like gross.
Yeah,
It's like, what
I
if
have
we
a-
just did the 1970s Black Christmas, but just really gross?
I have a poster that I put up on my wall every year.
Oh,
Oh my
incredible.
God. I love that one so much. That's another one I watched in college.
And I think the original is a masterpiece too. Like, and
Yes.
I go back to the original all the time, but I think the remake finds a way to do its own thing.
Did you see the 2021 one or whatever?
No, I heard that wasn't very good.
Yeah, I would say avoid that forever.
Say avoid that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We got to get back to trivia.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. We're going to make this the final question. What is the Rotten Tomatoes Tomato Meter score in percentage, closest without going over? This is the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Alex, you're in the lead, so you go first.
I guess it's pretty high, I think. Like, this has a good reputation. I'm going to say 87.
I'll say 88.
You're both over, but it doesn't matter.
Really?
Alex is still our winner.
Wait, what was it?
So it's 83%.
Oh.
The audience score is 80.
Okay.
And the letterbox score is 3.8 out of 5, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wonder how that's got to be one of his highest letterboxed averages. I wonder which other ones are in that zone. I would bet 13 Assassins is. I feel like that was another really big one, and Happiness of the Categories maybe. Maybe Blade of the
There's no way to
Immortal?
check.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Cut to me like at 1 a.m, just going through every single one and putting them in a spreadsheet. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
All right, we got to move on. Alex, on a scale of 1 to 10. Oh, it's time for ratings. I'm sorry. First of all,
You forgot how to do the show, huh?
it's hard. It's really hard. No one understands. Alex, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Audition for you?
So as I mentioned, I think this is a really great movie. It goes, I think, beyond being something shocking and transgressive. It's got a lot more juice to it. I think it has a lot more on its mind that kind of makes it feel like something that sticks to the ribs a little bit more. It's, I think, Miike working at a kind of a best case scenario, like what he can offer and kind of what he has in the tank when he isn't just like cranking stuff out and like actually like taking a breather and like and working it out.
It gives that extra week to filming. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And it's probably, I think Dollars to Donuts is probably his best work, and I think it's kind of one of the standard bearers of like this kind of wave of genre cinema from that part of the world. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I really, really love this movie, and it was a real treat to revisit it.
Nice, awesome. All right, just so we don't end on a 2. CJ, what would you rate this movie?
I just wanted to add that the main character is about to propose to the woman and has never introduced her to his son, which I think is insane. And also doesn't know where she lives. But anyway, this is not for me. This is not this is not made for me. I think, like I said, it's sort of because I saw the poster, I'm sort of waiting of like, okay, I know something's going to happen. And then I got to wait like an hour and 40 minutes for it to happen. A little slow in my book. I will give this a 6. Ken.
All right. That is higher than I expected. I'm honestly shocked it's above a 5 for you. So that is amazing. Yeah, I love this movie. I've already expressed my history with it and why I really like it. I think it cuts to the bone. And 8. I love this movie. It's so good. It's hard to watch at times, and they kill the dog, so that's why it's not like a perfect 10. But I really, really like it.
Yeah, for I think adventurous listeners, I think looking for something a little different. Again, it's not. This is for October. It's for Halloween. It's not like a let's pop this in on Halloween and have a good time kind of movie. Yeah. But if you're feeling like you need to do something, like you want to try something a little different, I think there's a lot to chew on here, and some really cool filmmaking. That doesn't go too like full abstract and experimental. It never really like totally loses the plot, but then you also get some pretty gross thrills. Yeah, if you got a thing with needles though, like that's that may be a deal breaker.
It's still never forgettable. I don't know. It's very good.
Yeah,
I like it.
You'll never forget it if you watch it.
No, for sure. Well, Alex, thank you for joining us. A pleasure as always. Do you have anything you want to plug at the end here? Any words of wisdom?
You know what? I actually do. For if you have any local listeners, when will this
They're almost exclusively.
when will this be airing?
This will be the second week of October. So this will
October
be
8th.
out on October 8th, yes.
Okay. I'm not sure if I think by the time this comes out, we will have announced this program. To remind your listeners, I work for the Chicago Film Office, and I have been working on this program in November that we'll be doing every Wednesday night at the Chicago Cultural Center downtown. It is in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Siskel and Ebert show. They aired their first
wow.
episode in November 1975. So I am doing a whole month of programming with special guests. I'm working with like local critics and film programmers in Chicago, folks who knew Siskel and Ebert, folks who were inspired by them, to pick films from when they were working together between late 1975 and like 1997 or 1998. We're trying to pick some kind of underrated movies that they championed, but also that are very important to the guests so that they can kind of tell personal stories. We'll have talkbacks, and it'll all kind of culminate in a live performance put on by a theater troupe called Pocket Guide to Hell on Saturday, November 22nd. They are doing a whole like hour-long reenactment in our theater at the Chicago Cultural Center with actors playing Siskel and Ebert, sort of explaining the history of the show in a style of an episode of their show. So we'll have 4 weekly screenings. Whatever. I'll give you a sneak peek on a couple of the movies actually.
Please.
One of them is a film called Lone Star. It was a 1996 movie by the director John Sayles. Matthew McConaughey, a young Matthew McConaughey starred in it. Chris Cooper.
Oh, wow.
It's this kind of like Western mystery that takes place in a border town, and it kind of cuts between like flashbacks and flash forwards about this kind of cold case of missing Mexican immigrants. I think it's very unfortunately still prescient today in kind of what it's examining. And my guest will be Adam Kempenaar from the Film Spotting Podcast.
Wow, cool.
Which was kind of a big get. So Adam is going to talk about why the movie is important to him, why it's one of his favorite films. We may have other guests as well, but Adam will be holding it down with me. Another one will be the 1979 film Breaking Away, which is a coming of age film of teenage boys who take up cycling racing in Bloomington, Indiana. So a Midwest film. Was nominated for Best Picture. It's a really great movie. And my conversation will be with Thea Flaum, who produced the Siskel and Ebert show in the late 70s and early 80s. So those are just a couple of examples. We're still working on locking in the other ones, but I think by the time this episode airs, it'll be out in the world. All of these events are totally free. So I invite your guests to check out the Chicago Film Office website, chicagofilmoffice.us, and we'll have RSVP links. All you need to do is RSVP, and you can come to these screenings for free. They're every Wednesday night in November at 6:30, except for the week of Thanksgiving. I'll do that one on Tuesday. So you can go there, check out when things will be screening, who the guests are, and you can RSVP, and I hope to see you there. I think it'll be really fun. It's kind of a big swing for me. I haven't been able to do a program this big before, and they're kind of giving me the keys and trusting me. So I hope people come out and see it.
That's very cool.
That is freaking awesome, man. I'm gonna have to try to come at least for one of these. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
all of the movies that we're picking, I think, are even the ones that we're not quite at yet. Like I think they're all great, and they're the kind of things that don't screen, I think, very often in Chicago. So I think they'll be fun opportunities to check out something cool.
Cool. I've heard of Breaking Away.
Yeah, Breaking Away
I haven't
rocks.
seen it, but that's awesome.
Lone Star is a favorite of mine too. It's a really special movie. So, and I can't think of the last time it screened at like a repertory house in the area. So, I'm no expert, but I think it'll be really cool. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, definitely go check it out, folks. That's amazing. Well, thank you again, Alex. CJ, what do we have at the end here?
Follow us on all the things at Overtalking Pod. Call or text the show at USACat1591. Email us at overtalkingpod@gmail.com or go to our very real website, overtalkingpod.party.
And stick around to the end of the episode to hear what else we're going to be talking about this month. But also, I'll just tell you right now, next week we're talking to Mary about The Craft.
Spooky.
Yeah, spooky.
Now that's a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
That's a Halloween movie. Actually, then the following week, we're going to be doing a recap of my time at the Music Box of Horrors, which, Alex, you are welcome to attend if you would like to. And then we're going to be talking to Danny for the Halloween episode about Ghoulies.
Ooh, another Halloween-y movie.
I haven't seen the Ghoulies before. I'm excited for that one.
That's my Matt Stork, my Horrorama partner. It's a favorite of his for sure. He loves the Ghoulies movies.
Nice, awesome. And I have to do this, but at least it's seasonally appropriate. Oh no, they're here. It's the Overtalking Overlords. They're here, creaking their way into the studio to remind you, if you like the show, please go on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and rate and review where applicable. Reviews would help people find this podcast. Also, we spend no money in advertising. So if you like the show, please tell a friend and spread the word. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get those needles out of there, guys. They're putting the needles away.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Ken doesn't want the needles.
Yeah, he's afraid.
Absolutely not. Get him out of here, please. Away from my eyes and my tongue and stomach. And as we always say at the end of every single episode,
Bye.
This episode of the Overtalking Podcast was produced by Ken and CJ, edited by CJ. This week's special guest was Alex Vazquez. Be sure to rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And tune in next time to hear the boys continue Spooky Month with Mary to talk about The Craft. See you next week.